This diamond wouldn't have been shaped by now if it wasn't for that, because there was a point in my studying years where I ended up having to work 4 jobs just so I could make ends meet. You know,
4 jobs, ma'am.
Trading has made me shed tears. Trading has put me in positions whereby I was like, you know what, in adult language, but this is it, I'm done with this, you understand? I don't want to lie. The flashing of what trading is online also caught my eye. I think trading is not difficult. What's difficult about it is how people make it look out to be with their way of teaching it. There's a saying in Xhosa, "Andizuhlulwa yinto engathethiyo." I cannot be defeated by something that cannot speak.
We've noticed that 59% of our regular viewers are currently not subscribed to the channel. If this channel has provided any form of valuable information or added any value to your life, you can show your support by merely hitting that subscribe button. So please do consider subscribing. Enjoy today's episode. Yeah, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm looking forward to the conversation that we're going to have today. I think like I was telling you, it's always for the benefit of the next person, and I believe that's what's going to happen today.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Are you good?
I'm awesome, thanks. How are you, Nqobile?
Nah, I am good, ma'am. I am good. You can say my name a few more times. No, because I can't say my own name, actually.
Odd. How come?
No, the Mxhosa okhulele from Val.
Okay, try. Just try.
Nqobile.
You're trying. That's
no,
better.
But when a Xhosa person says it,
you just click the tongue at the top of on the roof of your mouth. It's like at the front. Yes. You see, you're trying better than before. You've got this.
Yeah. No. Perfect. So we're here to come talk about you. I've got Lela. Did I say it right? Tati. Did I say it right? Tati. Is it
yes,
supposed to be Tati?
It's Tati.
Tati.
Yes.
Tati.
Oh, yes.
Fancy.
It's T-A-T-I.
Yes. Thing is with Amasenem Wesintu, you just never know when you see a T and an I, you're like, you're gonna say, I'm gonna come say T, you T, but then you find out there's something else. No, but apart from that, no, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I think what I always like to do is just give people like proper background on who you are, where you come from, where did you grow up? Like we can take it back a little bit and then we'll get to the trading things in a bit.
Okay, where do I start? I always find it difficult when someone says I should tell them about myself.
Yeah, but where did you grow up?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm getting there. I'm not saying I won't do it or I can't do it. It's just a matter of when I have to talk about myself, it's been a journey.
Oh, yeah.
Therefore, it being a journey also brings a bit of memories and also experiences into the very moment I'm at, when it's things that already happened in the past. And trust me, it's only good things. Like it's good memories, because this diamond wouldn't have been shaped by now if it wasn't for that, right? So where I grew up in the villages in Eastern Cape, in a small village called Nqobile Tembane. I was raised by my grandmother, and growing up, and also as a last born, I was really, really a curious child, but also being raised by my grandmother helped me to be shaped into someone that also understood life on a different perspective. And then as I grew up, I went to a junior secondary school that was just around the corner. It was like 6 kilometers. So every day I had to walk back and forth.
6 Ks.
Yeah, 6 Ks to go, 6 Ks to come back.
Oh, yeah.
So I even had a potteries. What do you mean?
The financial markets wait for no one, but with the right tools, you'll never get left behind, and that is where the Octa trading app comes into play. Craft your strategy, analyze the market, execute with accuracy with Octa. Also awarded the 2024 Most Trusted Broker in South Africa. Now that's a broker I trade with, and that's a broker that you should be trading with. What are some of the things I look for when choosing a broker? Transparent trading conditions. Fast deposits and withdrawals, a diverse range of instruments. Bro, did you hear that? No? Just me, I guess. And a user-friendly interface designed for easy navigation and efficient trading.
Octa.
Okay, I get it. I hope you do too. Download the Octa Trading app today and use the promo code MarketMasters to get your 100% deposit bonus. Elevate your trading with Octa.
So every time I went back and forth for when I started the school until grade 9, it was a whole lot of experience for me, because over the years, there were some school kids that would come into our school and we would get to learn more about them and also get to understand other people's cultures. That's where for me, even being curious about learning or having a curious mind was triggered better besides the school aspect of it, because I got to learn a lot.
Yeah.
And when I had to come here, fast forward to me coming to Johannesburg, I came when I was coming to study at the University of Johannesburg. I got admitted after my grade 12, so I was like, okay, cool. Let me go to Johannesburg. I was rejected at first.
Oh, yeah?
I was like, oh, but I passed well. But at the end of the day, I was able to be to be sent an email that said, we want to hear tomorrow. We've got one more spot remaining. I was like, tomorrow, don't you get there the following day if you leave today? But everything worked out in my favor, because I managed to get here on that day and I never looked back since.
Yeah, what did you study?
Ooh, your questions. So what did I study? I studied Bachelor of Arts in Community Development and Leadership. That was in 2015 until 2017. And then I took a break because I was adulting, and this is Johannesburg. And then after that, I studied AI in the 4IR. It's artificial intelligence in the fourth industrial revolution, as well as financial literacy in money management mentorship. Yeah.
I wish you would have told me that before we started. Wow. Now my mind is like, no, we're going to get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. You know, what I want to ask about is the transition from being from Emakaya to coming to Joburg, because I know a lot of people, you know, they get this side and then eventually they get taken up by the lifestyle, the whatnot. And then essentially people end up just losing themselves. How were you able to kind of just stay true to who you were?
It took a lot, I don't want to lie. But being able to stay close and true to my roots came from not always remembering where I wanted to go and where I come from the most. So that wherever I went, I'd always remember that back home is where I will end, my story would end. Because at that point, as a female, I was more business and career driven. So I wouldn't have thought that, at some point I would have to leave home for a long time. But whenever that would be the case, I always knew that home is where the heart is. Yes, that's what kept me going back. That's what kept me humble, because every time you go back home, you look at the fast life of the city and look at what you want to achieve with your home. And it always goes back to, I cannot act in this way when I haven't achieved what I want to do where I come from.
That's true.
Yes.
So now you took a break, you studied AI.
Yes.
And then when do you interact with Forex for the first time?
I interacted with Forex that time, that duration.
Okay.
I had stopped with, I had finished my course, the degree I was doing, into trying to see what I can do in terms of work, because there was a point in my studying years where I ended up having to work 4 jobs just so I could make ends meet, varsity.
4 jobs, ma'am.
Dude, life was lifing, and I was from the villages, and I was like, I'm here to make it. We're going to see how it's going to be made, but I'm going to find my way.
Can I ask what those jobs were?
I was a maid.
Oh, yeah.
I was staying in Johannesburg CBD. So where I was staying, it was like the cheapest, because it was the last one in the roof, where there was no lift. We had to walk up the stairs, and in there was only a space for a 3/4 bed, and I would sleep just right next to the lady and her child and just be laying there. Like, it's a small space. It's even better than a shack, I don't want to lie.
Oh, yeah.
I used to stay in that space, and it got to a point whereby downstairs there was someone that was looking for a maid. And I was like, I can clean. So I went downstairs, and they would pay me 200 rands every time I clean. And there was also another shop that was selling perfumes. I went in there, those Jose perfumes, the brands that people make themselves, where what I was doing, I was promoting someone's business and also working as a salesperson to try and achieve whatever I could. The other one, I was a promoter, especially around 2015, 2016.
Okay.
A lot of people had just been introduced to the promotion thing, where you saw a lot of girls wearing caps and T-shirts that represent that company. Some would wear with shorts and jeans, but that kind of promotion where you hand out flyers. I was doing that as well. What is the fourth one that I was doing? I think I was doing... I was selling SIM cards. Yes, I was recurring SIM cards and selling them.
Yeah.
Yes. Those were the 4 jobs I was doing. And they were able to sustain me until I was able to do what I needed to do, which is why I felt like I'm juggling a lot at once in terms of work. Maybe let me take a break from school, because the other problem, I was being forced to work a lot of jobs so that I could make money to sustain my school, because I didn't get a bursary.
Okay.
I had to, remember I was rejected.
Yeah.
So no bursary was going to give me... when I was rejected at the University of Johannesburg, no bursary was going to give someone money to study that wasn't accepted anyway. Because where are they going to pay for the tuition and residence if there was residence in the application? So when I went from not studying to having to work, I got a job in sales. It was started off as sales, but I was looking for a job, and there was this broker that was talking about their products, and I had to get a job and work in that broker. And as I was working, I realized that no, man, I'm losing sales. I'm losing a lot of momentum with finding my niche as well, because someone would be like, okay, hi Lela, I hear what you're saying. Thank you very much. But did you see what gold, for instance, did today? Remember, I don't know what he's talking about. And it would have been a sale maybe, but because I don't know what I'm referring to, or I can't have a conversation that he can resonate to, even though I'm the one that called him about that conversation. It was like, girl, you need to learn. Take books, do your your research, but you need to learn how to do this. So for me, I think it's pretty much how my trading journey started. It started off with me being forced to know what I was talking about. And the more I learned about it, the more I took an interest. And also, for some reason, I don't want to lie, the flashing of what trading is online also caught my eye.
Okay.
I was like, if someone can do this, I can do this too. But I was also willing to take to trust the process and take the length of time I needed to have for me to learn what I was doing.
You know, I actually want to talk about that particular process of that if they can do it, I can do it as well. But I think a lot of people tend to want to jump the gun when it gets to that point, because you see something today like, oh, a Lamborghini, or rather a BMW or Mercedes, that boy is young, whatnot. I can do it as well. But I think a lot of people tend to, there's a disconnect where it's like, okay, I can see that, but now you don't know how they got what they got. Now you also need to put in the work. And how does that affect, did that affect your journey, or did it keep you inspired, or did it affect your journey in a positive or a negative way? What would you say?
A part of it was, like, to be honest, a part of it was motivated by it, but also a part of it was remembering that the reason I was doing this in the first place was not for the show off, was for the investment in the future. I had dreams. At that time, I don't want to lie, I didn't know they were dreams. It was just thoughts that I wanted to put into action, but I wanted to find a way, not an easy way, because I was willing to learn the process, but a way that I felt that was going to be to an extent whereby I could fulfill whatever plans I have in place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you start learning to trade. Oh, no, you start learning about trading. You're not trading yet, correct?
No, I'm not trading yet at that time. No,
at that
I'm
time,
not.
you start learning how to trade. So now, because I like what you said, you had to go and do your research. What did that look like?
Oh, that looked confusing.
Okay.
When do I buy and why do I buy? Where do I sell and why do I sell? And what actually makes up this structure to move the way that it moves? At that point, that's how I said it. But looking back to today, as someone that has taken time to learn it, it's like my question now has changed to what really moves the market. Yes.
Yeah, no. And the thing is, I want the practical side of it, because there's probably somebody at home sitting there, they're watching you, they're like, I want to be like her.
Yes.
But how did she get to where she's at? Like, what are the processes that were taking place? Because, you know, we go through so many hardships and then we get to the other side of success. When we get there, a lot of people don't know how many nights it took. So I want to discuss those nights.
Oh, With pleasure.
Those nights.
With pleasure. Those nights. It's funny, I'm even remembering them with a smile now.
Yeah.
But trading has made me shed tears. Trading has put me in positions whereby I was like, you know what? In adult language, but this is it. I'm done with this. You understand? So whenever I did trading and it brought me to my knees, a part of me would always be down on my knees, wanting to get back up in saying, I need to fight. Like, there's something here. There's a reason I'm here in this. But at the same time, if it brings me down, it's like there's a saying in Xhosa, "Andizuhlulwa yinto engathethiyo." I cannot be defeated by something that cannot speak. Meaning that you've got an upper hand. You've got the power to it more than it does to you. Hence, being controlled by things and material and everything shouldn't be a thing. So whatever you do, it's always important for me as well, which is what helped me with my journey. When it brought me down, I went back to maybe I should study about what I'm doing. So I would find what are the real courses that people study that help them with their trading journey. I found one, I believe most people know it, it's Baby Pips.
Yeah.
I looked into Baby Pips. I studied the course from top to bottom, but part of me when I got to the bottom, I didn't feel like I understood what was being said. I had to do it again. When I did it again, I did it halfway this time because my memory was also coming back with the other information I'd already gotten before. And from there, I said, okay, let me put it into action. I downloaded MT4.
Okay.
So when I downloaded MT4, that's when the real business was starting. Like, okay, you've got 100,000 for free, but I like challenges. And I face challenges head on. So if I'm going to face a challenge that is not really affecting me, it was not bringing me to the purpose or probably closer to the result I was looking for. Therefore, I ended up having to put some money in it. I was like, okay, you know what? Let me put my money where my mouth is. I put the money into the account. Oh, I want to tell you right now, I lost all of it.
How much was it at the time?
Oh, it was like 1,500 rands. And especially that time as someone that was also working in a brokerage, it was like, no, just deposit 50 rands. And you're like, oh, 50 rands. Oh, sure. I'm going to deposit 50 rands. I'm going to make millions out of it. Remember, I didn't know what I was doing. And I was just going by word and how forward we were going as everybody that was trading at the time. So I ended up giving up at that point, but not giving up to say, I'm done with this. I was thinking to myself, should I continue with this? Is this something I want to do? Because the emotion of losing all that money when I got it from nowhere anyways, it was like I took something I had and gave it away because that was giving it away.
Yeah.
Do I really want to do this?
And this is your first time?
This is my first time. Like that was 1.5. I was expecting it to make $1 million. So I'm like, oh, my $1 million is gone. And I'd already counted. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to this place. I'm going to achieve this and that. Yeah. And now the money is gone. Now we really need to reprogram. And reprogramming means strategizing. Like you need to go back to your drawing board and be like, okay, what can I do better? Or was the information that I got not real or good enough? Then that's when I went to the YouTube videos. I was going through to the gurus, but the kind of gurus that I went to the kind of people that when they spoke with whatever teachings they were doing, I felt like they were speaking to me in a way I could understand.
Sorry to interrupt. Do you feel like, because you mentioned the kind of people you were going to at the time, do you feel like you stumbled on those people by mistake, or was it intentional for you to find people like that? Or why not go to the guru, to the people you saw? Why not?
For me, I'm not driven by sight. I'm driven by faith and purpose.
Okay.
So when I saw what I saw, I only went for what I felt was speaking to me. As I was saying, I could only watch the gurus that I felt were speaking to me. Not that I didn't stumble upon the ones that, yes, they were gurus, but they were not speaking to me. I did. But the main thing was for me to have someone that I understood teach me what I needed to know. Yes.
That's powerful.
Thank you.
No, because the thing is, people actually don't understand that particular framework right there. Is that when you're going to pay somebody money and they teach, what if their teaching style doesn't correspond with your learning style?
Yeah.
Because sometimes, and I think that's why we find so many people being accused of other things, because somebody comes to them and they teach. Yes, they give all the information they have, but you'll find that at the end of the day, me as a person, a client paying, I'm supposed to learn, but I don't understand how to learn from that person who's teaching a separate way. So I like what you're saying, that you needed to be in a place where you felt like there was a connection of some sort.
Yes. And I did find those people.
Okay.
Because what I realized about my learning was that I don't understand the jargon, so I don't want to learn trading jargon when I don't even understand what trading is. I needed to learn it in a basic way. So if you're going to talk to me about, let's say, a strategy for one, you can't talk to me about a strategy that's already confusing, that already has you to, that already wants you to go to your trading platform and be complicating the chart itself, like be putting all these lines and all these things. I needed to learn how we got to the lines before I could get to the lines.
Yeah.
Yes, and I needed to do that in a basic way, honestly, because they would speak a lot of jargon. And I understand, I'm not blaming them. For me, the jargon was for people that understood it, and we've all got our own audience that we're talking to. As a beginner, I wanted to do the beginner stuff.
Yeah. Well, can you tell us the story of where you found yourself going? Did you pay for any courses?
I did.
You did?
I did.
Yeah.
I paid for a couple of courses. For me to get to where I got to.
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Okay, there's a course that I paid for, but this was recent. Very recent, like maybe let's say last year.
Okay.
I paid for a course because I was really good and going strong in what I was doing, but I felt like there was something that I was lacking within my trading journey.
Okay.
I was like, no, you know what? Maybe let me hear from a familiar voice or person, because all along I've been learning from people online, from people abroad, from people in hands reach in the form of books or online courses. Let me hear someone that says, for instance, in South Africa, I know how to trade. What do they mean and how do they trade? I got my result out of it, but I learned before that, and I still look up to people that are also learning themselves. Not that I'm saying, like one thing about people though, is that when you are in the trading journey, you end up looking down on someone because they are South African and you're also in South Africa. For me, I felt like now that I know what I'm doing, let me also see someone else that knows that, well, that says or is doing things the way they are doing that is interesting to me, and not come in a form of trying to rip them off, but pay them the money they want for their course for me to hear how they teach and learn from them, because we can all learn from everyone.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So now you lose your million.
Tell me about it. Yeah, that 1.5.
You're still working at the broker.
Yes.
So now you decide to stop this trading thing.
Yes.
And then you're still working at the broker though.
Yes. I worked for the broker for a lengthy period because it meant that every day there was something new I needed to do. And also at the back of my mind, it was exciting because I felt like I was in school due to the adrenaline rush it gave me.
Yeah.
Like you get to work, when you get home, you learn about what to do. It's like a homework. So when you go back tomorrow, when you're even pitching to the clients, you had to be in a high pitch and of knowing what you're talking about. You can't just call someone already down. You're calling a client here. You gotta be on your A game. So when I was calling the clients, it was a better conversation for me because I knew how to keep it short because I got straight to the point and I was talking what they could hear and understand. And if they were not interested, they were not interested. For those that were, they were interested, and I could keep teaching them as well as they go on their journey. Not to just call someone, they get into the broker, you're saying you're going to teach them how to trade. Now education is no longer a thing. They're already here. So why does it matter? Let's look for more. No, doesn't work like that.
That's so true. I think for you, what I'm understanding right now is that, the whole thing about learning a language, a new language, if right now I decide that I'm going to go to China and spend 2 to 4 months that side, I know I'm going to come back knowing a bit of Chinese because I went there, I spent time there.
Correct.
With the people in that culture. Obviously, I was forced to learn the language rather than being at home, being this side, trying to learn the language of that side. So I think it was very important for you to be in an environment filled with like traders. And I think it's the same for everyone. Some people, yes, it's a journey you can go on by yourself, but it's very important on the kind of information we take in as well.
I'd like to differ in that aspect because when it comes to trading, no man is an island.
Yeah.
You can never do it alone because we're talking numbers and it's a numbers game. It being a numbers game takes us back to our schooling days. You'd always have homeworks in math, but some of those homeworks could never be done alone. You had to have it done as a group so that you all share your ideas and also put in your little bit into the assignment. Reason being, we speak words, we don't speak numbers. And sometimes you'd have to get somebody else to help you to speak the numbers in a way they understand, in a way you could understand, and in a way that could be profitable for you. Yes.
Yeah. So you're in the environment, you're calling clients every day, you're learning as you're going, that's benefiting you. So when do you decide, okay, let me actually come back to trading?
Yes.
When do you decide?
Okay, so I decide when I call this other client, and because I'd gone into investing.com that morning, I believe. I think it was that morning or probably the night before, but there was going to be major news. And then the client, I have to get to the office in the morning, call clients. When I get there, the client, same time when you get on the call, it's like, do you know what's going to happen with the market today? So with just that conversation, we got to a part whereby in the conversation, we predicted it right. And the client, because they were trading, they made a lot of money. I was like, you made a lot of money on a call with me about something we both predicted right, because it was a conversation. Do you see what gold is doing? Oh, yes, I saw. You saw how the markets have become more subtle now. Have you seen how calm the markets are? It's like, oh, okay, I see. This is the direction the market is going to go. We said that was the direction, and it became that direction. But because the client was trading, he made a lot of money. And I thought, if he could make a lot of money like that with me on the phone, maybe I don't even need to be in the office. Because after that, the client was like, oh, here you go. Here's $200. I was like, okay. So this thing really is working.
Yeah.
That's when I even took some of that $200. I put it into my account, into my trading account, because as a client in the broker, I was already registered. Yeah, as an employee. So I took that $200, not all of it though. No, I took like $50 out of it, and remember I already lost my 1.5 rands. So I didn't want to lose another million. So what I did was take $50, put it in there, and now I was extra careful because I didn't want to just press buy. I already learned what you do when you go onto a trading platform. I wanted to apply it in that way. But the biggest thing, which I always talk about, I'm sure people are going to start calling me by it now, emotional intelligence. That's when emotionally I awakened myself to think, as much as this money was just given to me, let me look at it as my hard-earned money. Let me look at it as if I lose it, I don't have hope anymore. Let me take it seriously. And taking it seriously means it's like when you have to remember something important and it would help someone. I needed to remember what I learned. I had to remember what to apply. And I also looked back at what I had to do. So fast forwarding from that period, over the years, I didn't stop from there. But what I started doing was that there were losses. But within the losses and the profits, I managed to journal down everything I was doing, from the losses to the wins to the blow-ups of accounts. I used to write everything down. And I remember this one time, I made a big loss of 2,000 pounds. When I made that loss, I don't think I had that money when I lost it at the time, because I was counting on growing it more for me to withdraw it and keep it. I had a little amount, but it was not that amount.
Yeah.
So when I traded that amount and the account blew, I blew up the account, like I blew it literally. When I was sitting there, I think the tears that were coming out of my face, because it made me cry. I don't want to lie. It made me cry to a point where I was like, what am I doing wrong? And the questions that came in along other questions were, is this thing even real? But then fast forward from then, I went on to learning how to strategize, strategies that I use. I learned to learn more from other people and open myself up to changes, because one of the other problems I had was that this is how I learned how to do this. I can't be inserting other things here and there. Like maybe now, if I'm making an analysis, now I have to go according to the time frames and also look at probably a strategy that I use. I still use it now and it works for me. I still use supply and demand. As much people look down on it, most traders that I know, whenever you speak about trading and using supply and demand, it's like, no, man, that strategy is, I'm not saying they're not right on their own terms, in their own way. For me, personally, it's working for me because it's the most basic and nice way of working around the trading platform with a way I could read what's happening. Not all these other strategies. I'm sorry, I cannot. No, I cannot.
At some point, it feels like people are just overcomplicating a very simple thing.
That's my thing, bro. That's my thing. You don't have to overcomplicate this, because one of the things when I look back when I was learning, was that I think trading is not difficult. What's difficult about it is how people make it look out to be with their way of teaching it. Because why would you put all these things and go to all these indicators, go to all these lines, go to all these colors, go to all these grids of the chart, when you could easily do this as simple as possible for the next person to understand? I think that's one way or the other of gatekeeping.
Yeah. So you get that $200, you take the $50, you put $150 in an account. Your approach to the money has changed now.
Yes.
You know, there's a quote here: there is no beginning, middle, or end. Only what you create in your mind. I want to talk about boundaries for a little bit, because you know the issue with Forex, is that there's endless opportunities.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
And I think we become so reckless in chasing all those opportunities, because now, like you were saying, you put 1.5 and you had $1 million already. You know, and I think we lack the ability, or rather we just lack the wisdom to understand that, hey, look, I need to set boundaries for myself. And I feel like that's exactly what you did when you started up the journey again with the $150.
Yes. That's exactly what I did when I started the journey with $150. No, I started with the 50.
You started with the 50.
Yes,
You took the 50.
Yes,
okay.
yes, I took the 50 and
yes.
well, I already had problems. You know, money comes in and there's already problems. So
Problems
the
you
150,
didn't even have.
you know, bro, tell me about it. Oh, money is problematic. You have it, you don't have it, you don't have a problem. You have it, you have all the problems in the world. And they all sum up the amount of money you have, like all of them. I think that's also what pushed me to learn money management mentorship.
Yes.
Because when I started learning it in financial literacy, BA in financial literacy at the University of Johannesburg, I realized that, no, man, maybe the money wasn't all bad, because I'd started making profits. After the cry, I went back to fight. At first, for the first 2 days, it was revenge trading. But the third day was, I cannot be losing more, because I was emotionally trading. Remember the emotional intelligence part of it. One other thing I realized when I was going through that, I realized that you shouldn't trade for problems, because the minute you do, you're already in your own emotional state of seeing this, and you're also telling the chart, guys, come on, I don't have any more money. This was my last. It's like the market is not your friend.
No.
The market is not your friend at all, because if you're going to take it lightly and think it's going to go according to what you want it to do without doing the proper work behind learning how trading is done, it's going to show you flames. It's going to show you flames for sure.
That's true. Money management is actually one of my favorite topics that I love talking about, because one thing I've realized after sitting down with so many people here, you realize that actually a strategy it doesn't mean much towards the journey, towards your profitability. And one thing for me personally, I raise the flag of money management, because I understand if you know how to deal with your money off the charts, you know how to deal with it on the charts.
That's why I chose the most basic strategy. No, like imagine your money running out and your chart is also busy. You don't know what's making it go away. Is it the Fibonacci lines? Is it the trend line? Is it too wide? You just don't know. But one thing that made me lose money the most was the increasing of the lot size. I stopped moving it when I felt comfortable, because there was a point I felt comfortable, or rather confident, that, I'm making money, I know this. So I was like, let me increase the lot size.
But shouldn't that be the case though?
It is the case, but my increasing of the lot size went back to greed, whereby I'm like, I have a very small amount, but I already want to go on a one lot size, which didn't make sense, because if you're on a negative, any move, any peep of the market is making you a loss already. But if you are in the right amount of lot size, at least you get to keep a lot of your money. Even if you lose, you won't blow the whole thing. Not that you have to keep it to any number, really, because it's entirely up to you. You always risk what you're willing to lose. You always trade what you're willing to, like you always have an amount of profits and losses in the amount you've put in. If you want to make 25%, You'll know what loss size works for you in your maybe $200 account, and that 25% of that $200 for you. Yeah, so you always know. So for me, it was like, let me come down from one lot size, because that's when I realized, no, I'm trading for problems. There's problems here.
And you've created some of those
I wanted to get that mansion immediately. I was I want to buy a house right now.
You want to pay cash?
I was like, in fact, I'm going to pay everyone when I'm going to get that mansion. But it was like, no, that's not how it works. This is real life. This is real work for other people as well. People don't just get there overnight. Rome wasn't built in one day. You got to work towards the success you wanted. Then from there, I put my lot size. I also investigated and researched my way how to put the right lot. There's no right lot size. But what I gathered with what I was learning, not that it's written down anywhere, but on my end, it brought me to a decision of saying, if my account is below $200 or it's $200 at least, I would rather have my lot size at 0.05. Okay. That keeps me safe enough. And at least if I open a lot of trades with 0.05, at least I can open 4 or 5 of those with that lot size. But if it's any higher, the market is already volatile, and liquidity, especially with the direction of how I analyze the market with the strategy I use, it always looks as if, or actually it looks as the market is going towards a direction of liquidity when you always go into the market based off on the beginning probably, or the beginning of either a supply or demand zone. So if everyone is getting in at this point, which goes back to the market has eyes. The market can see what's going on, in the sense that, and the eyes of the market are liquidity, in the sense that if there's a supply, the market shows you that the market is going to come back to this direction. Let's say maybe you come in exactly at the very big momentum of a supply zone. When you get into the momentum of that supply zone, everyone would want to get in the next candle or in the next movement of the market, because they're like, oh, this is bullish. Like no, like this is bearish. I mean, and this means that this momentum means that the sellers are in place now. They are taking over the markets. The markets can see that, oh, there's a lot of traffic around this time. Everyone is coming in. The market would move it to a direction where it would go and stop you out at your stop out level if you've put it, and then it just goes back to the direction you wanted. It can do that probably around 2 times. It can create a small M, which is like a demand zone. It could create a small M, like, oh, the market is going against my direction. Let me close it. And then when it's going in that, no, not the M is the supply. Yes, the W is the demand. So when it's going in a direction of an M, which is the supply zone, it always gives you that hope that, oh no, it's going to go back up. It's going to go all the way down, and then it goes back up. When it goes back up, you're like, oh, let me get out of the market. It's not going to my direction. And exactly at that point of liquidity, it just decides to go back right to your direction, because it had to stop all those people out. And you'd be wondering, how did it take me out, or why would it take me out? Because that's where the market was going. But it was a matter of liquidity. It had to do the stop outs to get to where the market had to get to. It wasn't going to be a straight line, because another thing with the market never goes up or down forever. Somewhere along the lines, there has to be a 10. And that 10 is always driven by liquidity. Not always per se, because there are a lot of market movers. There's a lot of them, supply and demand being one of them. So with the way the market moves to a point of people being liquidated out, there's people that also trade the reversal when there's major news release. They're like, okay, the market is going down. Probably a lot of people bought, or it's going up, let's say. A lot of people bought at that demand zone, like, oh, the market is going to go up. They buy. After buying, it just goes back to, oh, by the way, the market is actually going down. And then the people are going to take the reversal, because another thing with the reversal of the market or of the trend is that it's safer, because it doesn't come in wild. It doesn't come with high spikes or a lot of movement with the prices. It comes slow, because it's also still trying to trick you, so I thought, into thinking, oh no, it's just going to go back to my direction. And then it just shows you I'm actually going the opposite direction. Yeah, the reversal has been working for me for major news, because I don't trade in major news, but after the major news release, I always look at what the market has for me, and it's always the reversal for me.
Yeah. No, that's great. Money management. You said you studied money management. What are some of the key lessons that you can share with us that you have learned over the years with money management? Because I think financial literacy is probably one of the aspects where I don't just want to say blacks, but South Africans, we struggle a lot so much with like financial literacy, handling money, and I think we see that with a lot of the young guys who are making a lot of money in Forex. They're doing like not the smartest things. Again, it's your own money at the end of the day. You can do whatever you want with your own money, but I think it's really important when we refer to money management that, hey guys, here are some of the key lessons you've learned over time, so that maybe somebody is at home is like, okay, no, Lela said this. Okay, no, let me implement this into my life.
Yes. So some of the key things I learned, which came in handy for my to my trading journey, was that I shouldn't be spending based off on peer pressure. That came in handy for me, because another thing with managing money is that money is access. As long as you've got access, you feel you can touch the world. You can do whatever you want to do because money is there. What's stopping you? But another thing is that money would be gone tomorrow. What are you keeping yourself safe with? How are you moving on? So with me, it was savings and investment. I learned a lot about saving and investments because it taught me how to actually sleep on things. If you go to the store, you feel like, oh, I love this. I want to get it. And if there's a small voice that says, do you really want it? And looking at your budget, because you also need to have a budget. Do you think this would help you in the near future? If you buy this, do you really need it? So I would use the part of sleep on it. I would go home, go and sleep on it. If I wake up still wanting it tomorrow, I don't care how much I got, I'm getting it. But if I don't want it tomorrow, it has saved the day. But at the same time, there would be times I would wake up wanting it and fight the feeling, because it's like, if you're buying this and you don't really need it, you had to go and sleep on it, meaning that you didn't have to get it in the first place. And if I go back sometimes, because when I'm saying if I want it, I'm getting it, it's a matter of if I go back to the store, probably it's already sold because they're not waiting for me. And I don't find it there, I always take it as, oh no, it was not meant for me anyways. I just become optimistic about it. But more than anything, it helps me tackle back to my finances a lot to say, okay, I didn't get this. That's fine. I will have an emergency or something to do with the money later or at some point, instead of me going to look for something similar or something that is going to make me spend as well, which is not important, because I also look at how long is this going to sustain me for, and do I need it or want it? And when it comes into my life, what changes is it going to make? A lot of things make changes in our lives in different ways. But with money management and literacy in finances helps you understand your spending better. Investments, even if for instance, you start at the age of 20, which is the only age that is, not only, but which is the age that is seen as the most viable age to start saving, at least 200 rands per month, nothing major. By the time you're 55, plus or minus, if you take those 200 rands, you multiply them by 365 days, and then 365 days is a number of years, or probably 12 months, up to you. Then when you get to the other part of how long in terms of years, in 15 years time, if you say 200 rands times 15 years, for instance, you'd realize that those 200 rands per month came in a lot. Because my other mistake that I was making when I didn't know anything about money management, I thought saving meant you take all the money you have and just put it in one place and be like, no, I got savings. Then when one problem comes, you take all of it out. But it's a working process, because you also learn the difficulty of trying to save in a way that you know that if you take this money and use it, you've already spent so much of your time trying to build this. Why would you want to go and demolish it? But if you just take a lot of money and put it in there, it becomes a different story. Also with investments help you to manage your money better if you are not disciplined about your finances. Because if you invest, unlike saving is on you. But with investment, you can give it to a third party, even if it's with your bank, it's with a third party that makes investments. You're like, okay, here you go. Please keep this money for me, maybe for 10 years. Some people, because they know how ill-disciplined they are financially, they would end up saying, you know what, can I have a fixed account whereby I won't take this money no matter what until the time you've given me comes? Those are parts of the things that I've learned about managing my finances, because money can call you just by being in the account. Be like, you've got money today, why are you sitting at home?
Yeah,
it calls you, it talks to you. It's like, come here. You know what? Actually today, let's go on a vacation.
Yeah, let's just go.
It's like, oh really? It's like, you've got the money, what's stopping you?
Because you can.
Yes, but if you put it and keep it away, you forget about it. Because I think one other thing is fearing that you're going to lose a fraction of it if you withdraw it before time. But if it's also for an emergency, you know you've got somewhere to tap into that you've saved and you're good to go.
Yeah, and I think it's that whole thing of, when you start about saving from 20 years old, I think this is probably some of the lessons I needed to hear when I was 20. But,
No, you can start even now.
Yeah.
There's no perfect time to start, but that was considered as the one.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking about it, I think we look at that 200 Rand a month and we don't respect what 200 Rand a month is.
Yeah.
In 10 years' time, in 15 years' time, in 20 years' time.
True.
We don't look at it from that perspective, For us, it's just like, what, 200? then we start the calculations, 200 times 12. Like, whatever. But over time, and obviously if you've got an investment account, then compound comes into play and all that. But obviously that gets a little bit, and all that, but that gets a little bit more complicated, but just saving as well, which I think a lot of people really should be saving. So what's the key? Because I know when you withdraw money from your trading account, what percentage do you think is best for a person to be like, okay, I've withdrawn, for example, I've withdrawn 5,000 today. What percentage of that do you think should be put to savings for you, or is it up to the person?
Okay, firstly, I'm in no position to give a financial advice. This is not a financial advice. This is an educational response to whoever may need to who want to hear this.
I was just asking.
Yeah, I know, but it was just going to sound like she said I should keep 200 rands and I'm going to make this money. And at the end of the day, probably someone goes a different opposite direction with it.
Guys, there's a disclaimer at the beginning of every interview. This is just a conversation.
Yes. Thank you very much. Anyways, I think for most people, it depends on how much you make, because there can never be really a number put to it, in the sense that you may make, let's say, 25,000 rands per month. That's $1,000 plus minus. You make that amount per month, and when you do, someone else makes $200 per month. And maybe they've got a rental that they are doing every month, something that you don't have. So your 25% and their 25% off of the salary would not be the same. It goes back to budgeting. If someone has a budget they are willing to stick to, it helps them to manage their finances better, regardless of how much money they got. The most important one is making sure that you commit to the budget. No matter how much you want to save, it's up to you. You're the one that knows what your future looks like.
That is true. Going back to the charts real quick, when things are going right on the charts, it's nice, definitely, and we end up just focusing on what's going right and all that. And then when things are also going wrong, we also end up focusing on what's going wrong as well, But what I actually want to get into is that, what do you do during a winning streak?
Oh, a winning streak. Before, for me, a winning streak was confidence in the markets, until the markets taught me a lesson. I sat down and said, markets, teach me, because right now I feel like I'm a child, in the sense that when I had winning streaks, I was making a lot of mistakes because I was too confident. With winning streaks, I follow my trading plan. I go in with a plan. When I get there, I stick to it. That's how I maintain mine.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's how you manage yourself during a winning streak?
Yes, that's how I manage myself. I stopped being greedy, because greedy comes in when you're making a lot of money. I don't want to lie. You say, oh, I can make 1,000. How about I just make $2,000? Oh, there's 400 pounds. I can make even more. But if you've got a trading plan, hence journaling your trades is important. You will also see the mistakes you make in between the trades. Not that how I'm trading doesn't have losses. It does, just like everybody else, because in trading, there's risks involved. But it helps me manage my losses as well as keep my winning streaks, like I would put it as consecutive. If I win today, I can win tomorrow. And I've met one of the South African traders. I've met a lot of them. I've been around trading a lot. But there are some that I've got things I've spoken to with that came back and gave me insights that I still live by today. Some of them would be like, you know what? The market tomorrow can go in this direction if it went in this direction. For me, for someone to be able to make that observation, I look at it as these people took time to learn this. And me looking at it and seeing sometimes that it works, just by monitoring, not that I'm going to go by other people's analysis, but just by monitoring the markets based off on what they were saying, it also gives me a bit of confidence in what I'm doing.
Yeah. And on the opposite end, how do you manage a losing streak when you're on a losing streak?
Oh, now we're getting personal. Oh, well, we are really getting personal because for me, when I lose, I'm handling it differently now than I did before. My losses were always accompanied by frustration and wanting to revenge trade. Right now, my losses are giving me a reflection back to my drawing board and back to my journal, whereby I'm like, okay, I had a journal. This is what I did on my winning days. I go back to remind myself. And sometimes because money is money, and it loves me, or I love it, but me and money are very good siblings to a point whereby when I am making a loss, I take a break from the losses that I'm making and just go back to basics. Just go back to what did I do wrong? When I got into that trade, did I follow my trading plan? But most importantly, I relearn how to trade.
Yeah.
Yes, I would do an analysis of the charts and be like, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. And then I go back to the charts, not when the markets are busy, because for me, I prefer the New York session.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whenever I'm on that part of the market or it's that time of the market, I always look at, let me at least try to re-practice, or let me try to use my trading skill onto this time frame and see how it works. And when it does work, I'm like, okay, cool. Then I can go back to the markets and be crazy with the rest of everyone and make money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what is trading psychology?
Trading psychology for me, it means the ability to mentally be prepared for wherever the market goes, whatever direction, because you don't want to be too emotionally involved with the direction of the market, because you're going to end up blaming your analysis on the direction of the market. But if you intellectually in line, in tune with your trading plan and your trading skill, it makes it a whole lot easier for you to mentally prepare yourself for the result. And also when you've got the right risk management in place, you are able to accept what's going on with the market, and psychologically, you're still optimistic about trading. Yes.
That sounded like a textbook answer. Yo.
Well, it's not, I even didn't hear what you were asking me. I was like, what did you ask me? Because that was a pretty good question. That's what caused that.
No, thank you as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think, I just want to talk a little bit about AI right now, because you studied AI.
Yes.
Do you think that AI somehow is going to change the way we trade?
Well, to be honest, it already has started.
Okay.
Because what we have working the most as AI these days is the algorithms for everything. Even with the market movement, for the markets to be detected on the very same second something is happening in the market, that's already AI moving the system, because we're using technology to do this trade. As much as trading is an exchange, even from off the markets or from off the online platforms, it's always a matter of the records that are keeping everything in place are AI, because that's technology. So technology has already started changing the way we're trading already. It has also started doing a lot of impact in the way we trade. Therefore, it has already started. I don't believe it's going to. I believe it already has.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, so we are living in that.
Yes, because we already passed the fourth industrial revolution. The fifth industrial revolution is whereby even most doctors now would be artificial intelligent doctors, who are also seemingly the ones that can accurately cure a disease 80% than a human doctor. And also they've been programmed, I'd like to believe they've been programmed, I'd like to say as well, as far as I know, that they've been programmed because there's a system you insert in them, and that system is how they're supposed to move. So with their movement of how they are taught to move the markets as well, or how the market moves, they are really changing a lot of things with what's going on around us in the charts as well as the news. Because sometimes, let's say there's a news release, you would think that, okay, you know what, I've predicted this based on how I've analyzed this. I've made my analysis. I've got my point of entry, my entry price, and I am going to make sure that I get in and do what I wanted to do and follow my trading plan. But due to algorithms and AI, that have already gathered all the information around that particular time frame of the news, you'd see the market going a different direction because within a second, they are part of the changes that happen to the markets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do get what you're saying. I think it's going to be very important for traders to implement more AI tools to their trading.
Yes, there are a lot of them. Robots, people use robots. That's AI.
Yes.
Yeah, it has already changed.
Yeah.
It has already changed. But it's also up to us to also be mindful of how we make use of the change, because human analysis and a work of a human hand, which is a human brain actually, can never be surpassed by technology, because the technology working the way it's working is all based off on what a human taught it. That system, those chips that were connected together, that device that was made, it was made by a human. Therefore, the human taught AI what it needed to know by inserting whatever into the system of the AI in terms of your cyber things, you guys, that you do. Yes, so it's always a matter of AI is in action, and we are also not going to allow it to impact us in a negative way. Believe in your analysis. You'd hear someone saying, oh no, the markets are manipulated too much. I'm not saying they are not, but the minute you tell yourself that, you spend less time on trying to learn how you can work against the manipulation in the markets.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I think the use of AI, I think in everything that in our daily lives, there's so much AI we haven't. It's everywhere. But I was just also thinking about what that does for time as well, for time management as well. Because I remember there was a task we used to do for the podcast, very tedious task. It would take hours on end every day. You'd have to do that. Then eventually, when AI became such a booming thing after ChatGPT and all that, then we started implementing this particular process in our work in our work process. And now it's like it's cut off like literally probably 6 hours in that day worth of work.
Yes,
and I think it's important also for people when they're learning as well to also utilize AI as well, especially in the hence I was saying in the trading. I think it's going to be very important moving forward, in as much as the tools are already there, but I think there's also like other third-party tools that people are still going to introduce to make everyone's trading a little bit better.
Everyone is investing in software right now.
Okay.
I think it's been a thing of a minute already.
Yes.
Everyone is investing in software. Everyone is already looking into how they can improve software. Others are looking into what can they come up with. Because honestly, this part of AI coming in that people don't really notice that it's AI started even with starting by working remotely. And with working remotely, you get to use a lot of the internet, a lot of the devices and the gadgets that we have. That's technology taking place and taking space up.
Yeah. Emotional intelligence. I think I want to go a little bit deeper into that one, because I think you said that people are going to start calling you by emotional intelligence.
Oh, no. You know what? Top Trader has me right now by the neck. Emotional intelligence started off for me as a learning curve.
Okay.
Right? Excuse me.
No problem.
It started off as a learning curve because I realized that my greed, which was psychological, was also driven by lack of emotional intelligence, because where there's no logic, there's no emotional intelligence. You have got to go according to whatever you do. Let's say now in this case trading, you have got to go with your trading plan and your trading as a trader from a point of logic. You shouldn't make it as a point of your own personal thoughts. That's why there's investing.com, there's the news. That's why there is other ways whereby you can look into the market. And emotionally, if you are going to, I'm afraid I have to tackle into a very sensitive topic for most people. Let's talk about the US elections for one. With the elections taking place, if you feel like somebody shouldn't win an election because you don't like them, and you believe that's what's going to happen in the markets, that's not being emotionally intelligent, because you should focus on what moves the markets. Even if you feel like, okay, Nqobile right now is not going to trade in a certain way, or maybe the market, according to Nqobile, is going to go on a sell. But I don't like Nqobile. Let me just put it by it because I don't like it. So this is how emotionally you get to use logic when you get to the charts, when you get to the markets. That is how you also become emotionally intelligent, because greed, I think for me, I always put emotional intelligence and trading psychology together. But the most important one is, for me, is emotional intelligence, because emotions work on us. You're already trying to get into a trade and you just got pissed by someone outside, emotionally already coming on like, he said my Rolex is fake. I'm going to show them today. Oh, guys, I don't have Rolexes. I'm not that rich. I'm not rich at all, for that matter. You know, people will start saying, oh, these gurus come here and say they've got millions. Let's see the million. Guys, no. We're just educating here. And then there's companies that will be coming for you. Tax when, a tax. Yeah. So this for me has been a great experience, the trading journey, of course, and also getting to share my trading journey with gurus like you. I believe gurus don't have to be people that do trading in an aspect of making a lot of money and driving sports cars and doing this and that, but also being a guru comes from you being able to teach the next person what you know and what you've learned and what could work for them. And if they're interested, probably give them something that they could do. Because we get to adulting and you don't even know what you're doing.
Every day. We're just like, yo.
Like, what am I doing today? Am I quitting the job? Am I keeping it? am I going to talk to that person that made me sad yesterday? Am I going to not talk to them? It's always a matter of, these kinds of platforms are very appreciated by the public. You see, as you said, you've got a road to 99K viewers, subscribers. 100,000.
No, by the time this is released, we would have hit the 100,000.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be famous. No.
Yeah. That doesn't work like that.
No, but come on.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I could share, and I liked what you said when you said, even if one person learns. And that's also my goal. You're not asking for too much, and you really have changed people's lives, I believe, from what I've heard. And as I said earlier, by the way, I wouldn't have came here. I don't really do interviews for podcasts, not for anything. I just don't want to feel like I'm enforcing what I've learned onto the next person, making them believe that that's what works. It worked for me, so being here for me felt as the right thing to do, to come and share my truth. If it works for the next person, even if it's just one person, it would make a difference.
No, that is so true. That is so true. Every decision has an emotional component to it.
Yeah. And I also had that Top Trader essay has got good people in it. I was like, okay. And I heard from a very good trader friend of mine. I was like, okay, cool. You know what? If you guys, well, I love them, him and his wife. I was like, you know what? You guys, shout out to them, actually. Shout out to them. Should I tell you who they are?
You can do it off camera, on camera. It's up to you.
I don't wanna breach anything.
There's nothing to breach.
Okay. No, I mean with them, maybe just mentioning them. But they are traders. They are traders too. I'm just doing it out of respect. But they know themselves, and we've done a bit of work together in the trading space, and we've been friends since, because that's the language we're speaking. Trading.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, perfect. What is, I think you touched on this, what has been the biggest loss you've taken?
It's the one, that 2,000 pounds. Yeah, yeah. Oh no, that one. I cried.
Yeah.
Like, people wouldn't believe this, trading making you cry, you're such a softie. It's not about being a softie. It's like when you've put so much work, it's like if you're exercising, the sweat you get, you're sweating because you've done the work. So the tears for me, more than anything, were emotional sweat to say, but I've done all the research I needed. I've done everything. And right now, I'm coming from a point of, I know I can do this and I'm doing it. Where did I go wrong? And I went wrong in the very same place all of us go wrong at. Greed. Because there was nothing wrong with my plan. I just didn't follow it when I got to the charts.
Yeah.
I started increasing lot sizes and opening more trades than I should have, and actually just trading because the analysis was great, but also remembering that as a day trader, because I am a day trader, as a day trader, at least by 8:30 South African time, I don't want to be in the markets because that's when the markets start moving a lot. And with my journey of trading, I always choose to trade like in the midnights and the AMs because that's where also there's less noise in the markets. It gives you a subtle amount of time. Even if there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of money to be made, not in a risky way. it's risky, yes, to trade, but in a way that you can contain with your analysis as a day trader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually about to ask, what's your daily trading routine? Because it seems like you're a night owl.
Oh, I'm a night owl. I function better at night.
I feel like this is your bedtime right now.
Well, it could be my bedtime because I'm also adjusting back to African time zone.
Yes.
It's really a difficulty for me, but I'm getting there. I'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
So my typical trading day is me starting. Let me just say I start my trading day at 12 midnight.
Oh yeah.
Because the markets for gold close at 11 p.m. weekdays. So after 11 p.m. when the markets open, then I go into the trades. When I get into my trades, I firstly do an analysis for a couple of minutes, or sometimes it takes 30 minutes because there can never be enough time to make an analysis when a market is moving in any direction. I go into my trades. I firstly look at the 4-hour time frame. I put on I only use one indicator first. I use the shapes, or one of the shapes I use is the rectangle. I just look at where the market was previously on the 4-hour time frame and look at where the market is likely to go based off as well on the trend that the market is doing.
Can I just get an understanding when you use the triangle?
A rectangle.
A rectangle.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. It's a rectangle.
Yeah.
So it go. You're a trader. Nqobile.
No, you said triangle, so now I'm like.
No. Sorry. Oh, thank you for correcting me because I thought of all the shapes that are there. I'm sorry. Trading. I'm sorry. I thought of all the shapes that are there. I use a rectangle.
Okay.
So I look
understood.
at where the last price. Let's say maybe for instance with my supply and demand strategy, I want to go into a demand trade, which is a buy trade. I'd look at what's the last highest price the market went to.
Okay.
That price for me serves as the price that I'm going to take profit because it's likely to bounce back down from there. And then when I look back at how low did the market go, I also look at the momentum of how strong did the market go down. Did it go down strongly? Was there a lot of momentum? Or there was just a lot of indecisiveness with the market, like a wave of movement? And for me, from there, when the market is consolidating, I do not trade. And if it means the consolidation happened for a certain period of time, I can wait it out because I have to wait. I cannot rush into trading. There's no rush into this if you want to make money.
Yeah.
You got to be patient enough to allow the market to go to where you want it to be, where you've predicted or analyzed it to go, that it would go. Then when it gets there, I look at now, okay, let's say it has reached the point of, okay, it went as low as I had predicted it for it to go. This is my take profit, and I then put the take profit, which is the last highest price the market went to. And then my stop loss would be at least 3 prices just to play it safe below the entry price. Then after that, I get off the charts a bit. When it gets to that part where I've said I'll be making my entry, first of all, if I'm not in front of the charts at the time, I would put a buy order, meaning that when the market gets to this market price, let it buy. But I would also suggest that most people that also don't know what they are doing, they should not look at it in the sense that, oh, the markets are going to trade for me. You can do it manually too because the markets are unpredictable. They cannot go your way. They can get to your buy order and just continue going further down, and you don't make money. But if you're doing it manually, you look at it. Hence, I'm going back to what you were saying. Trading needs you to have time. You cannot not have time for trading. Like you cannot. You've got to be there when the market goes a certain direction, because also learning how the market moves helps you with your trading journey.
That's true. I just want to read 2 quotes or statements right here. In the trading environment, you'll have to make up your own rules and then have the discipline to abide by them. And I think that's what you've been just
Yes.
today.
yes. In trading, you gotta have a plan for real. And when you have a plan, when you get into the charts, follow the plan. It was a plan for a reason, and trust the process. Because if it was a plan and when you get there you don't follow it, what were you planning? It doesn't add up. The math has got to math in the trading chart as well. Yes.
Yeah, and the last one is to operate successfully in this environment, you'll need to learn how to control yourself in ways that may be completely alien to you. So I think it's just the emotional intelligence that you were talking about, just operating in a way that's like rigid, that's like, because I think sometimes we as people,
Yes,
we
yes,
just
yes.
want to be just taken wherever it goes. But I think to operate successfully in this trading industry, again, have your rules, stick by your rules, control yourself as well. Because I think a lot of people fail to control themselves when it comes to trading. People end up revenge trading, whatnot.
Yes,
so I
yes,
think the
yes.
more we learn more about ourselves, the more we learn about these charts and all that, and the more we can be more successful. And I know a lot of people always say this, the best way to learn about yourself is to start trading, and then you'll know who you are.
The truth in that statement. The truth is like saying, if I get tested with millions, someone would see the true colors in me. It's something like that. And people even go back and make jokes like, you know what? God knew that I would not be a good person if I had this money like so quick. It's always funny that it makes you realize who you are. Are you a greedy person? Are you an impatient person? Are you an impulsive person? Are you someone that takes order? Are you disciplined? Are you a person that understands what they are doing? It gets you to tackle in a lot of emotional aspects of you as a person. Whoever said that was right. Kudos to them.
Yeah, it really it peels back all the layers, Chef.
Yeah.
Then when
Yes.
you're doing introspection and sitting by yourself, you're like, so I'm this kind of person.
No, that should really be a wake-up call.
Yeah.
Which is part of also some things I used to do when I was learning how to trade, when I was revenge trading. I didn't want to be accountable, and I didn't want to be responsible, and I also didn't want to admit that I was greedy. I just felt like the markets were just doing something wrong. And that made me learn that no, right now with you just don't want to take accountability in this situation. If you do, you'll work better. And for me, being able to do that instantly brought discipline. Because it was like, I thought you said you were not greedy. What are you doing trying to open another trade? Why are you increasing that lot size? I thought that was not you. It's like, okay, let me change.
Okay,
and it's even very humbling to be taught change by a device. It's humbling.
That's true.
Yeah.
Not anyone else, just a device in you.
Yeah. Man to man. And what was part of it? A device that you bought yourself. You already should be having control over this, but it has control over you.
Yeah,
but it's teaching us something.
Yeah, and I think we become better people.
Yeah, we do. I don't know any trader that I've not met any trader that is not a good person. Because I've met all the traders or every trader I know in a work environment or in a workspace.
Okay.
And the only energy I've found is people that have been really humble when they should have been pompous. At the same time, for those that are pompous, they also try to sustain their pompous or their way of doing things around other people, because it's like, yes, I can be flashing and flexing, but these are humans and these are people that are on the same boat as I am. And there's always that thing of someone could be better than me in this room. And it's all about learning.
Yeah.
I've met pretty good people in this trading industry. I think that's part of the reasons why I was like, let me continue with this, because there are times whereby you don't have motivation. And sometimes the flesh and the fleshy and the materialistic things are not the motivation you need.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's so true. No, Lela. I said it right, ne?
Yeah. Yes,
Lela,
Nqobile.
no. Thank you so much for today's conversation. Thank you so much for just coming and pouring out your hearts as well.
You tested me. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
I appreciate it so much. I don't know, do you offer any services? Do people reach out to you?
Oh, no, I don't offer any services at the moment because I'm based between Africa and the United States.
Okay.
So I don't think I'm not able to do this work with people in here and I'm on the other side, or on the other side and people want help. Like, it's just vice versa.
Makes sense.
Yes. So from where I am, I'm a solo trader. And if anyone would like to learn, I think it's part of why I also came here. This is what I've got to offer. Not that there's just only this to it, but I feel like it would be helpful enough to get you started and know where you can go with your journey.
No, beautiful. Yes. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Nqobile.
Thank you. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is another episode of Market Masters. I'll see you guys same time, same place next week. Thank you, and we're out.